Hey everyone, I'm Giovanna here with Hassan. Welcome back to the HBF Venture Accelerator Podcast. Today, we're diving into the landscape of AI startups, specifically looking at how AI is actually making its way into the applications we currently use or in the future will use every single day. When we talk about AI startups, it's a broad category. Can you break down the different types of AI startups we're seeing emerge today? I've heard terms like model companies, platform layer, and application layer. What do these mean, and where does the real innovation often happen?
Great question. There is a lot of talk about the model layer, the application layer, the platform layer, and I think AI generally. And so it's helpful to sort of break that down for founders to understand where their company comes in. So the model companies are sort of the foundational innovators. These are folks who are at the forefront of creating a core AI model. So think about companies like OpenAI, Anthropic. These are companies, Grok is another whose primary focus is on delivering the core AI models themselves. We call these the large language models or the LLMs, and they are the backbone or the basis of this whole AI revolution. But these are generalized models; they're not focused on a specific task. And these companies sometimes will have a consumer-facing app like ChatGPT for OpenAI, where I can use some of these models to help in my day-to-day questioning. But that's also where they've adopted these models for a consumer application. Uh, the platform layer are companies who build tools and infrastructures that enable other developers and businesses to integrate, manage, and deploy these AI models. So they're basically enabling technology providers. So an example of this is a company that helps you, this thing called you know model context protocol, where you can have your AI model be linked to another source of data. So let's say you want to connect your Google Drive, which has a bunch of essays that you've written, to your AI. A platform layer company would be the company that will help connect your AI or the foundational model with sort of other data sources that you might have, and be able to provide a platform for that AI to be more useful for a consumer application. So they're sort of the middleman between the application layer or and application and the foundational models. And now coming towards the application layer companies, these are perhaps the most visible forms of AI that we use. These are companies that build end direct to consumer or business to business solutions that use the underlying AI models to solve real world problems. So when you think about deploying an AI to solve a particular problem, that's when you start coming towards an application layer situation. And we'll talk more on in the podcast about these different kinds of companies, but a quick summary would be that the foundational model layer companies are the companies building the core models. These are very generalized, but the smarter these models are, the smarter the later on applications of these models will be. The platform layer are companies that help connect these foundational models to use cases or are bridges between the application layer and the model layer. And the application layer companies are companies that are using the AI to solve a real world problem for either a real world business or a real world consumer. And they're the final use case of an AI application that we as individuals will often be encountering.
So, AI startups typically fall into like three categories: those that develop models, those that build tools to use them, and those that create real world applications. The application layer is where AI truly becomes integrated into our daily tools. Could you provide some examples of successful application layer AI startups and explain how they've effectively used AI to create impactful solutions?
Yeah, so the application layer is where there is a lot of good cool work happening on the use case level. So one company that comes to my mind is Harvey in the legal sector. So this company has been really successful. They've secured around 300 million Series E funding. Their last valuation is around $5 billion, and they're now making $75 million in annual recurring revenue. And what this company basically does is it's an AI legal assistant built upon these LLMs or large language models to assist legal professionals with sort of their day-to-day tasks that a lawyer would do, such as contract analysis, legal research, drafting documents, leading to significantly increased efficiency. Another great example is Gong, which is an AI-driven sales platform that sort of records the sales call, transcribes it, and analyzes those sales calls to provide insights and improve the performance of sales professionals. Gong was also, recently valued at more than $7 billion following a Series E funding round, which they've crossed around $300 million in annual recurring revenue as well. So these are both companies who are using AI to assist. real world applications. So, Harvey when it comes to helping lawyers do their job better, or Gong when it comes to helping people perform better. There's other consumer applications as well. Like there's a company called Photo Room, which is an AI powered photo editor specifically designed for online sellers, having features like background removal and batch editing. They've had more than 150 million downloads, showing that people can really get value from these AI tools that solve everyday problems for an e-commerce merchant. Like, hey, I've taken a picture of this shoe. How do I get it to be more professional and look nicer with the background removed? And there's many other examples as well, like companies like Otter AI, which provides AI-powered meeting transcriptions and summaries, or Perplexity, which is an AI-powered search engine. And these are all everyday use cases of AI helping people be more productive and be able to have more value in their day-to-day job, where AI is being integrated into a real-world application.
These new applications are showing how is transforming industries and delivering real world value. It makes me wonder, how exactly do these application layer startups and their technology work? How is a large language model, for instance, being utilized within these applications?
So that's a really good question. At the core, these application layer startups integrate large language models or LLMs and other AI models into their software to automate tasks. It could be something like generating content, analyzing data, or creating a personalized experience. One can think of an LLM as a highly sophisticated brain that can understand, process, and generate human-like text. So coming back to our example of Harvey, which is the legal AI, the LLM isn't simply generating random text. It's likely trained or fine-tuned on a vast amount of legal documents, statutes, and case law. So when a lawyer inputs a contract, the LLM, through natural language processing, can identify key clauses, extract relevant information, and even suggest potential risks or discrepancies for the lawyer, that can help make their job easier and can sort of minimize the chances of error in their work. Uh, the application can also present these insights in a very user-friendly way. Uh, there's often a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, where the LLM's knowledge is enhanced by retrieving information from a specific curated data set, for example, a company's internal documents or a legal database, to make sure that the LLM's output is more accurate and relevant and is not sort of generic answers. So, quick summary would be the LLM helps analyze information, especially textual form information, and be able to generate text and understand and edit text. So, in a lot of these cases, there's a specific domain knowledge that one gets fed into an LLM, and then the LLM is able to give a specific output linked to that knowledge base, and then also these tools can be made to think through particular directions. So, like if you want the LLM to be thinking through a particular set of directions, you can have these LLMs be programmed to be able to think through those particular directions. And that can also help create a specific use case that can help make the application really valuable in a specific use.
It's not just about having the LLM, but how you apply its power within a specific domain. And speaking of applications, what are some of the most common startup ideas people are currently exploring with AI? And how would an LLM typically be used in these scenarios?
So there's a lot of innovation happening, and I think we can. There's no like founders are really creative people who can come up with great ideas to sort of solve problems. Uh, but I'll go through some examples just sort of as uh, you know inspiration cases. So a very common case that's really popular right now is AI-powered customer service and support. So, we've been like there used to be FAQs, and then you had these chatbots that weren't really helpful. So with LLMs, you can really make chatbots that are automated support agents that are really helpful, because at the core of the process you have a knowledge base of information, and then you have a user asking a query. And so with LLMs and AI, you can actually understand that query a lot better and be able to connect that right information from the knowledge base and share that to the user. This is a really growing market, so it's supposed to be worth more than 27 billion by 2030. And I think that like what is going to happen is not that like customer support will not be done by humans, but really like a lot of the baser, simpler questions around, hey, when does my plan expire? Or, is this covered by the warranty or not? These kind of questions can now be answered in a really effective way with the LLM by, using the database of knowledge and, translating that, understanding the query that a user has and being able to fetch the relevant information and present it in an understandable way. Another common use case is content generation and curation. So, AI tools can help create blogs, they can help create ads, video summaries, and These are often also a case where you have some intent from a creator on one end, and these tools can help create or can help brainstorm that process. So they might not necessarily be only uh, doing the full end-to-end production right now, but they could be great co-creators to work from. Uh, Another common use case is sort of financial planning, where you can have these LLMs think through your how to manage your retirement savings, how to think through your portfolio, when should you start investing, how much money would you have if you invested in an index fund at this age, just sort of these kinds of day-to-day financial use cases where a lot of folks might not have access to a financial advisor, but with LLMs you can bring that access to a larger audience of people. Cybersecurity is another big one. You can have LLMs trying to solve, like tackle real-time threat detection. They can analyze logs, emails, reports, flag something that's looking suspicious. They can detect phishing, breaches, and sort of other kinds of cybersecurity concerns. And then there's also recruiting. So LLMs are being used to sort of pass through resumes, shortlist candidates, be able to figure out, okay, what skill, what experiences are relevant to a particular role that's being hired. And this can, we used to like have ATS software, but this can be a lot better because LLMs can actually think through more of those holistic services that people have done. And, you can actually, if you're a hiring manager and you decide, okay, I want to value people's experiences, um, from diverse industries more than I value the specific domain experience, you can actually set that preference up, and the LLM can actually analyze the resumes accordingly. So it can help be an amplifier for what your strategy is, and be able to do that at scale, and be able to do that really fast, really cheap.
AI startups are innovating across sectors with LLM-powered solutions. Many businesses already have well-established applications. How would one approach reimagining an existing app with an AI focus? And crucially, how does the LLM typically integrate into an already existing technology stack?
So this is a big thing that is happening all over sort of the industry, and I think will continue to happen after, every year and every couple of months, where more and more existing technology will need to be updated with AI, just so because so much of what the technology is supposed to be doing can be now done more effectively with AI. So the key approach would be, I think, first understanding specific areas within an existing app where AI can deliver significant measurable value. What is it that AI can help an app do better? Is it improving the user search? Is it automating the workflow? Is it enhancing personalization? Uh, or, for example, an e-commerce platform might aim to boost conversion rates through smarter product recommendations, or a healthcare system might seek to streamline patient data entry. Once you have that, you need to critically assess the quality and the quantity and accessibility of your existing data, which you can then go through and feed into the LLM. This often would include significant work in data cleaning, normalization, potentially labeling the data to ensure it's suitable for AI training or inference. Uh, for many established applications, leveraging pre-trained LLMs via their API, so from providers like OpenAI, Google, or Anthropic, is often the most efficient starting point. And this can allow companies to do rapid prototyping and deployment with minimal disruption to their existing architecture. And I think the key thing really has to be that the existing business has to take a step-by-step approach, figure out, okay, what's one thing where we can have our data being understood, processed a lot more efficiently, like sort of low thinking tasks that we might think like 3 years ago human would be needed to do, and because we couldn't really afford to have a human do those tasks, we don't really need to, we didn't solve those problems. Now we can throw AI at that specific task and build a function. But I think if you're an existing application, it's probably best to take chunks of your existing service and slowly, use AI and make sure that the chunk that you are tackling is able to be done well and is able to add value to your end customers, and then just scale it from there. Versus if you are a startup, then you might have a different approach and you might be thinking about building something with AI in mind from the scratch. So, but I think if you are an existing business, uh, it's probably valuable to use these APIs from OpenAI or Anthropic or Google, and tackle a small chunk of your bigger application and AI-fy it before you sort of tackle the next chunk and take that from a step-by-step approach.
Reimagining apps with AI means enhancing key features using LLMs and quality data, integrating incrementally to boost performance without overhauling the system. Building on that, what kind of team is needed to successfully build AI application startup? And what about the cost and time commitment involved? This is always a big question for aspiring founders.
Yeah, so I think AI is the big wave right now, and so there are a lot of founders with AI startup ideas. I think the key thing you need to build a strong AI application is you need a founder that's really passionate about a domain or solving a problem, and then you need AI machine learning engineers. These are folks who can build, train, and deploy the AI models. They understand the structure of LLMs, neural networks, and model optimization. You also, because data is sort of the fuel for these for AI. You need data scientists or data engineers that can help in collecting, cleaning, and processing vast amount of data that these models rely on. Uh, you also need sort of classical software engineers, front and back end, to build the actual application interface and integrate the AI components. Uh, Product managers are helpful to define the product roadmap, understanding user needs, and translating the business requirements into sort of technical specifications for the AI team. But you with the right team, you can combine all of this to be able to have an AI specialist who's able to work with data and have a full stack engineer who can take care of the application building component, and then the product manager who can sort of have the team work together to solve a use case. And you combine this sort of building pod with a founder who's really passionate about a domain, you can start making really strong incremental progress over on a week-to-week basis. Uh, Regarding costs, it can vary significantly based on the complexity and features involved, specifically whether you're building everything in-house or leveraging external APIs. Generally, an AI application can range between $50,000 to over $500,000 for sophisticated and complex applications. It can take between 4 to 8 months to build a solution. And it again, I think the scope matters a lot. But what we would recommend to founders is that you try to focus on the minimum viable product of your idea and try to build something that can be done in 4 to 8 months that doesn't cost a lot of money. From a founder's perspective, we can help invest some resources in that as well and validate the demand for your product, even at a smaller scope. And once that's validated, uh, we can think about how to scale that further.
A successful AI startup needs a strong, cross-functional team to turn data and models into real user-focused applications. But the founder's vision, expertise, and deep focus is all what the success is dependent on. Can you elaborate why that's so valuable in the AI applications startup world?
Yeah, this is a pretty crucial point because AI models are becoming more accessible, but the true value in a strong AI application really lies in founders who possess deep focus, passion, and are really experts in a particular area or industry. Because these AI application when you take coming back to our sort of earlier part in our conversation, when you take a foundational model and you say I'm going to build an application on it, you really need to understand the use case of that application. You need to understand the users. You need to understand what kind of data is relevant, how it's structured, what its nuances are. You need to understand the end user you're selling to, because eventually you need your AI to be able to speak the language of the user and align with sort of the real world workflows of that use case. And if the founder doesn't understand that language and doesn't understand the real world use cases, they can't work with a technical team to have the AI do it for them. So I think the most important thing for building an AI application is a founder with deep domain expertise who can work with the technical team to make sure that the AI solution is able to deliver at a level that is satisfactory for the end user in a particular application. So if you're building an AI tool to you know create art of a particular style and you're not an artist of that particular style, you won't be able to help that AI tool be good because you won't be able to give the relevant feedback to make it better. But if you are a founder that is a expert in that particular style, you can really be the best person to make that AI because you can be a constant source of knowledge to better improve and train that AI.
The key to successful AI startups are founders who combine industry expertise with AI, turning complex problems into practical, trusted solutions. How can HBF Venture Accelerator help founders launch their AI application idea?
So we understand that one of the big worries for angel investors is often a founder's ability to actually build the MVP and show real progress. And I think that this is aptly true for the world of AI, where founders might have a great AI idea, but to really build a business around that, they need to validate that that can actually be done. And so this is where I think we can be really valuable. We target idea stage founders, particularly those who are non-technical, aiming to launch AI applications, and we are able to invest $50,000 in product development for them to build their MVP. So if you have an AI idea and you don't know how to build it forward, but you think like, hey, if AI could be used to do this problem really well, that could be really valuable. We're able to come in, help take care of the technical side of building that AI solution for you, and be able to work with you on a week-to-week basis around transforming your vision around a solution into a real-world AI product. And what we think the best founders to do that with are founders who are passionate about a specific use case in AI or are passionate about building an AI solution. and know enough about that domain use case, and then we can partner with them to take care of the technical side of it, and be able to provide the engineering talent, the product management to take that vision and build it into a solution, where we try to target a 4 to 8 month timeline for launching that AI product at a cost of $75,000, of which we're happy to cover $50,000 from our end, and we ask founders to pay around $25,000 over 8 months at about 3,000 a month, which can make it more affordable than going out and hiring your own engineering team to build these products. And we don't ask founders to quit their job or to relocate to do this with us. We think that the best way to get started is to build the MVP for the founder, launch that idea, get some initial data. Once we have traction, then we can think about how to tackle this on the long term.
Thank you so much. My name is Giovanna. This is Hassan. Thank you so much for listening in and hearing us talk about the future of AI startup applications. We'll see you next time.